intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability, which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Okay, good afternoon. Hello, this is Lori Morose, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the December 19th, 2025, Volume 2, Number 9, from the Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. My name is Lori Morose, and happy Christmas Eve. Asteria sets table for banquets on Grand Island. Alicia Forbeck and Raki Rizik enjoy the food at the Grand Island Chamber of Commerce holiday party at occasions by Asteria. The building was formerly the Knights of Columbus Hall, 1841 Whitehaven Road. Town Supervisor Peter Marston goes through the line at occasions by Asteria at the Grand Island Chamber of Commerce holiday Christmas party. And the article and photos are by Karen Carr-Keefe, senior contributing writer. Occasions by Asteria has a historic heritage and promising future, according to the host who sought a banquet and catering facility for Grand Island. The facility opened to rave reviews and a ribbon cutting December 11th, just in time for the Grand Island Chamber of Commerce holiday party. The business has taken up residency in the former Knights of Columbus Hall on 1841 Whitehaven Road in Grand Island. It's the newest in a group of 3 venues operated by restaurateur Nick Pintillo. He also owns Asteria 166 on Franklin Street in downtown Buffalo and Villagigo in hometown of Ellicottville. He explains the word Asteria comes from an Italian language and describes a kind of meeting place. Catering is a big part of Asteria's family of restaurants. We do on-site events all over Western New York, Pintillo says. This is going to be our main kitchen, he said of the Grand Island site. Asteria already has bookings lined up, having started this past week. We're very much family-oriented and community-driven, starting from my first place of business many years ago. Asteria opened 13 years ago in Buffalo, then opened Villago 10 years ago, Pintillo said. It's a beautiful wedding venue, he said of the Grand Island facility, but it's also much more than that. Behind the building, there is a beautiful, colorful waterfall, he said, and there will be a gazebo over that, and that's where they can take their bows. There will be a stage for a band as well. The outside is really gorgeous, Pintillo said. In the back, the pavilions and the barbecue spots from the night's days remain. Our intent is to have programming all summer, whether it be corporate events, concerts, things of that nature, Pintillo said. Inside Asteria can accommodate over 200 people for cocktails and hors d'oeuvres. For a full meal, we can set up to 160 comfortably. Inside, Pintillo said. In total, I'm comfortable with saying 1,000 all in all. 1,000 all in all with the outside. A new chapter. COVID played a big part in the direction the business took, Pintillo said. When we started out catering, it was 10% to 15% of our business, and it's now 80 to 85%, Pintillo said. He noted catering kept the business going through the pandemic. We started a company called StockTheFreezer.com. That Monday that the pandemic started, we were all pretty miserable. The entire world basically was devastated. What do we do now? Nobody knew what the future held. I got a call from a friend on the Tuesday after the Monday after it started. It turns out it happened to be Joe Mancuso, who is Jim Pento's partner in buying this building for us. And he said, you should take a look at the meal prep. Pintillo said he held his first Zoom meeting about 6 years ago. We developed a website, redid a menu, completely created a new business model in 72 hours and launched, he said. But the biggest thing was we needed to make sure it was to feed people that needed the food. So we put a buy a meal for someone in need button on there. I thought we'd sell a couple hundred meals. Within 20 minutes, it started pinging. I literally cried myself to sleep with people pinging us, and I put 28 people back to work in 3 days. We served well over 150,000 meals into the community. I see it was a really good fundraiser for schools. Patillo said he is hoping to roll that out in the spring. Director of Operations Shannon Burvitz said the company recognized there's a big military presence in the area too. We would like to help them too, she said. For more information, visit occasionswesternnewyork.com. For bookings, contact Crystal Smith, Director of Sales and Catering, at info@occasionswesternnewyork.com. The catering packages include weddings, buffets, hors d'oeuvres, plated dinners, and bar service. Osteria also delivers to special venues in Western New York, such as Griff's Sculpture Park, Shays Buffalo Theater, and Knox Farm in East Aurora, as well as to private homes. Patillo said that the first 6 months of operation of Occasions by Osteria, Grand Island residents will not be charged for the venue rental, only for the meal items and bar service. The Knights of Columbus and 8 acres of land on Whitehaven was purchased for $300,000 on March 28, 2023, by James J. Penapinto, president of Pinto Construction Services, and his partner Joseph Mancuso under the business name 1841 Whitehaven Boulevard, LLC. The deed also names the Grand Island Catholic Club as owner. Penpinto is a long member of the Mary Star of Sea Knights of Columbus Council number 4752. The Knights, who have been meeting at the venue since 1967, now meet at Old Stephen Church, which has also undergone a transformation. It is now the Grand Island Cultural Center where community groups may meet. Financial pressures, especially during COVID, forced club officials to sell the property at 1841 Whitehaven Road. Rave reviews. The transformation from the charitable Catholic men's meeting place to a banquet hall was well received by those who attended the Chamber's holiday party. Some had a special connection to the Knights and thought both the banquet hall and the Knights benefited from the transition. Frank Burkhart, a longtime member of the Knights of Columbus, attended the Chamber party and said he was impressed by the transformation to a banquet facility. I think it's wonderful, Burkhart said. The building was suffering so much from deterioration, and the Knights could not afford to maintain. And new ownership, they've made a commitment to transforming this building. It took them some time to figure out what the right thing was to do. It's a beautiful facility with beautiful grounds out back. Burkhart has been instrumental in renovating the Old Stephen Church to become a Grand Island Cultural Center, where the Knights and other community groups share space for meetings, theater performances, and a Neighbors Foundation food pantry. He said, we recently got a certificate of occupancy for the upstairs, where the parish players recently held the musical production of Joseph and Mary. It's a great way to have a first show to kick off the reopening of the facility under its new use, Burkhart said of the Grand Island Cultural Center. Highway Superintendent Dick Crawford, also a member of the Knights, said he was pleased with the first look at Occasions by Osteria. What an elegant transformation, Crawford said. What a great venue now for Grand Island to have this kind of hall. Crawford said the old Knights of Columbus Hall served Grand Island for decades, and with a lot of events, but he's pleased that Osteria will have a lot more banquets on the island. That's a good thing. I wish them all the luck in the world. Former town supervisor Mary Cook said it's exciting because the renovations is incredible. I can't wait to see the outside. It's also nice to look. It's nice to, in my book, to have a renovation of an existing space. She said that the Cook family has a tie to the new facilities. It's extra exciting because Osteria is where Jeff Jr. and Jane worked before there was this little pig. The restaurant Cook's children now operate in Clarence Hollow. Town Supervisor Peter Marston said the renovation banquet hall, it looks great, fantastic. He said a couple of years ago, the new owner who bought the Knights building, spoke with him about what the island needs. I said, we need a meeting place. They came back to me 6 months later and go. That's what we're going to do. I said, great, we could use that, Marston said. Okay, moving on. Freezing for a reason at the polar bear plunge. Members of the Grand Island team emerged from the cold lake. Story and photo by Alice Garrard, senior contributing writer. Grand Island High School students and staff ran into the chilly waters of Lake Erie on a cold and windy December 5th to raise money for a worthy cause. According to Charlotte Tower, a student, ex officio member of the Grand Island Board of Education, who spoke at the December 8th meeting held at Caribou Elementary School, last Friday was the polar bear plunge. Dr. Graham and I took the leap into the freezing lake, raising $5,000 as a school for the Special Olympics. The polar plunge was held in Woodlawn Beach State Park in Blaisdell. Graham, superintendent of the Grand Island Central School District, said that Brian Albert, a special education teacher at the high school, actually went underwater. He went all the way into the Lake Erie to support the great cause of Special Olympics. Brian, I just wanted to thank you. I want to thank Hillary Kretzer Ferry, the teachers, and the high school. For many years, you and others have been leading this initiative. You and I were walking out of the lake and coming back, and you shared with me that. Over the course of time, ten of thousands of dollars have been raised by Grand Island High School students and faculty for taking the challenge of the polar bear plunge. The Special Olympics is really about creating opportunities for everyone, Albert said. One of the opportunities that the Special Olympics created in the United Sports program, which provides students with intellectual disabilities the opportunity to play on sports teams with students without disabilities. We've seen how beneficial it is for kids, Albert said. This year's team has been one of the best, he noted, adding it came from student initiative. I didn't mean for it to happen this year, Albert explained. We had students who were willing to pass out flyers and go door to door and find different ways to adverse. Charlotte actually approached me and asked, Are we having our team this year? And I was shocked by the email hadn't gone through to the student body. My attempts at communication had failed, but we had these two students who were out there. It was very much a student-led initiative. In addition to current students and staff, there were former students who participated in the plunge. One of them was Stephen Palmieri, who participated in the first plunge, which Albert said occurred in 2019. He had already turned 18, so he was allowed to plunge. There was no in-school challenge that year. He has come back and has plunged with us ever since, Albert said. He does a phenomenal job of raising money throughout this year. Palmieri is currently employed as an engineer. He's building the Buffalo Bills Stadium, Albert said. Tricia Palmieri is here today, Albert said. It was a big part of the Grand Island community. They know how to work the local businesses and how to advertise. They find different ways to gain donations, like garage sales and jersey raffles and basket raffles. Graham said that he was impressed with the $5,000 raised by his team. It's amazing. We thank everybody who was involved, he says. In addition to the December 5th Cool Schools plunge, 2 other plunges occurred. They were Corporate and Union plunge held December 4th, and the Buffalo Polar plunge opened to everyone on December 6th. Okay, we're going to go to the Erie County Sheriff's Office report. The following Grand Island response activity occurred Thursday, December 4th to Wednesday, December 10th, according to the Erie County Sheriff's Office. The Erie County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to 165 calls for the week of this report. During this period, deputies conducted multiple vehicle traffic stops. They also responded to 3 alarm calls, unspecified, 4 welfare checks, 2 domestic unknown trouble calls, and several first aid calls. The following is a small sample of the noteworthy incidents on Grand Island. We'll pause here. You are listening My name is Lori Morose. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Tribune Sentinel covering Niagara County and Grand Island on a Niagara Frontier radio reading service. Okay, back to the Erie County Sheriff's Office report. On Friday, December 5th, East River Road accident, PDO. Deputies were dispatched for a vehicle that struck a deer in the roadway. Minor damage, vehicle drivable. Saturday, December 6th, East River Road warrant arrest. Niagara Falls Police turned over a subject on a violation of probation's warrant. Subject was transported to Erie County Holding Center pending further proceedings. On Sunday, December 7th, Baseline Road, DWI arrest. Deputies were dispatched to a vehicle off the roadway. Interview and investigation led to the driver being arrested for driving while intoxicated. The vehicle was towed and placed under a 12-hour hold. The driver was processed and released on uniform traffic check tickets to the sober third party. Monday, December 8th, Center Terrace abandoned vehicle. Complainant reports a vehicle was left on the property for an extended period. Deputies were able to contact the registered owner to have it removed. All parties were satisfied. Tuesday, December 9th, Grand Island Boulevard, accident, PDO. Police were dispatched for a vehicle that struck a deer in the roadway. Minor damage to the vehicle, vehicle drivable. Occupants were evaluated by EMS on scene. New York accident report filed. Wednesday, December 10th, Staley Road, accident, PDO. Deputies responded to a two-vehicle accident in a parking lot. Both vehicles sustained minor damages and remain drivable. New York accident exchange completed. Moving along to the town of Niagara thanks TX Tierra for service to community. TX Tierra by Benjamin Joe. Town of Niagara Town Board member and Supervisor Sylvia Vertuso said goodbye to Council Chairman Charles Texiera on Tuesday as his final town board meeting. I want to congratulate you on your retirement as a town board member, and I wish you all the best, but mostly I wish you good health, Vertuso said. Thank you for all your service throughout the years and whatever you do next. I hope it all works out well for you. Councilman Johnny Parks, Council Chairman Michael Lee, and Deputy Supervisor Mark Carpenter all noted Texiera's help. Lee thanked him for helping his own career on the board. Parks expressed admiration and said Texiera was a watchdog for the taxpayers' money. Hopefully this is not the end, Parks said. Texiera thanked his family, the department heads in the town, police, volunteer firefighters, and ambulance drivers, elected officials, and residents for allowing him to serve for 19 years. Not sure what the next chapter is, but we're going to celebrate the season and we're going to have lights across the street, he said. And while I know it's politically not correct, you're supposed to say Happy Holidays, but Merry Christmas. Because this is the holiday you celebrate that Christ was born. And if I can do anything with the rest of my life, if I can let one other person know a relationship with Christ as their Savior, it would be worth more than anything else I do. Amen. In other news, water and sewer rates are increasing. Water rates are going up 30 cents per 1,000 gallons of usage, from $3.12 to $3.42, and sewer rates were raised 25 cents per 1,000 gallon, from $4.62 to $4.87. Minimum usage amounts were cut from 8,000 gallons to 6,000 gallons. A minimum usage price is $55. The town of Niagara and Niagara Active Hose have renewed their contract. The town board voted affirmatively on the matter of authorizing Vertuso to sign the contract. The town will pay the volunteer fire company $496,000 for the 2026 calendar year, and all their valuables remaining the same. Moving over to Kilth and Kin makes gluten-free eating easier. Articles and photos by Benjamin Joe. Kilth and Kin Bake Shop and Bistro, a restaurant on Transit Road in Lockport, has a unique distinction of being a gluten-free eatery. Originally just a bakery, the shop has expanded its current role as a conscious diner, serving customers everything from fish fries to meatloaf, burgers to pasta, and chicken fingers. Many people have a gluten intolerance, which some have a larger immune reaction called celiac disease, including Tim and Lisa German's 3 children. For them, finding gluten-free foods is a challenge. Tim and Lisa German opened Kilth and Kin in 2012, originally just as a baker. Lisa, a baker, said that the inspiration came from home. That's the reason why, Tim said, in German of the German children. They were diagnosed 17 years ago. They were 10, 8, and 5. Symptoms were brain fog. All have digestive issues. They were all small, emancipated looking. Our youngest son had skin issues. It took about 3 years to get them diagnosed. No one thought to test for that. While the cause for the children are known. Sorry. They fed their children. They fed their children crackers and toast for upset stomachs. Of course, crackers and toast have gluten, thus further compounding the problem. The Germans went to the gastrointestinal doctors, allergists, and even psychiatrists until finally a physician assistant asked if they had been tested for celiac. It started with a blood test, and the numbers were off the charts, Tim said. After that, the Germans insisted of a gluten-free kitchen. Lisa started baking at home because store-bought gluten-free products were expensive and not always so good. They are way better now, she said, with the choice for gluten-free families. At that time, they were less considerate to all the allergies. While working at a bakery, Lisa decided to take classes at the Small Business Development Center and set out to open her own bakery, a sweet shop that would be completely gluten-free. The first site of Kilth and Kin was on West Avenue. I said, I still have my construction business at the time until 2014 when I started the restaurant portion of the business because we had moved to Dinsinger Road, recalled Tim, who's also a trained chef. It had space for a restaurant, and people who heard about us were coming out of the woodwork. The Germans moved to their present location on Transit Road in 2018. A garage there was converted into a bakery, and a barn was built for special events. All the foods made at the restaurant, including the variety of cookies and other baked treats sold over the counter, are made completely without gluten. Business has been good, and the Germans recently celebrated their 13th anniversary on December 1st. They currently employ 6 bakers, 10 front-end people, and 7 cooks, as well as dishwashers and part-timers. Lisa said she makes 10 times the amount of bread she used to bake when first opening, about 50 loaves. Her best-selling cookie is chocolate chip. On the restaurant side, most people come in for regular kinds of food. Chicken fingers, fries, and pizza. The Reuben, chicken fingers, and fish fry are 3 of the top 5 sellers. And everything you need is from scratch. It's homemade, Lisa noted. We even make our own flour, Tim added. When it comes to preparing food sans gluten, a lot of the times we'll just start with a regular standard recipe that convert it to gluten-free, Lisa said. So there's a lot of trial and error, a lot of practice, a lot of research and development. A lot of things go right into the trash. I understand why it'd be very cost prohibitive for someone at home. You have so many different ingredients to make up the lack of gluten, and they can be really pricey. Having worked for years on perfecting gluten-free recipes, Lisa gets those ingredients in bulk. We'll start out with just a standard recipe. I've just done a ton of research on replacements and proportions for different things, she said. People from all around the world have stopped in the Kilth and Kin, which is an old-timely term for friends and family. Many of those guests were tourists seeing Niagara Falls and Lockport historical locks. Tim said that for families with celiac, they have to plan out where they can eat every day. Kilson Kin has become a popular spot. Lewiston Council on the Arts thanks Niagara Falls Bridge Commission. Submitted by the Lewiston Council on the Arts. The Lewiston Council on the Arts would like to thank Niagara Falls Bridge Commission for its ongoing commitment to the civic and economic vital of the binational community along with the beautiful Niagara River, said Executive Director Maria Fortuna Dean. Their generous support helps make our year-round arts and cultural programming possible, enriching the experience of both residents and visitors, and bringing people together through the arts. Happy holiday shopping and celebrating. Article, do the holidays give you a headache? Atlas Chiropractic of Buffalo shares how gentle, specialized care can help. For many people, the holiday season brings joy, but it can also bring stress, tension, and headaches. Between shopping, travel, winter weather, and the busy schedules, it's no surprise that this time of year often triggers discomfort. At Atlas Chiropractic of Buffalo, Dr. Michael Muto offers a gentle, highly specialized approach that may provide relief for those suffering from holiday-related headaches and other common season complaints. Dr. Muto is proud to bring this unique form of chiropractic care to the Grand Island community. His office was designed to be a welcoming and calming space with convenient access and ample parking for patients traveling from anywhere in Western New York. At the core of the practice, it's the Atlas technique, orthogonal technique, a precise, non-forcible chiropractic method forced on aligning the atlas, the top bone of the neck. Even slight misalignments in this area can affect the entire spine and the nervous system, contributing to tension, headaches, migraines, dizziness, neck pain, and more. Unlike traditional chiropractic adjustments that involve twisting or cracking, Atlas Orthogonal uses detailed digital upper cervix x-rays and a specialized instrument that delivers a light sound wave adjustment. Most patients feel free, little to no pressure, just a gentle tap, and many experience immediate relief on a sensation of their body naturally unwinding. When appropriate, the practice also incorporates full spine care to support the whole body balance. This technique can be especially beneficial during the holidays when increased stress, poor posture, travel, and changes in routine can all worsen neck tension and trigger headaches. Patients with migraines, post-concussion symptoms, vertigo, facial pain, and other conditions may also find relief through this gentle but highly specific method. Each patient receives a customized treatment plan and no referral is required to begin care. Dr. Muto also collaborates with other providers as part of coordinated health care when needed. One of the most rewarding aspects of the practice is seeing patients regain comfort, mobility, and the quality of life, sometimes even after the very first adjustment. The team is grateful for the warm support from the Grand Island community and deeply appreciates the patients who trust them with their care and refer friends and family. The trust, Dr. Muto says, is the greatest compliment they could receive. The holidays are giving you a headache. If the holidays are giving you a headache, if you are struggling with discomfort at any time of the year, you may benefit from the highly effective, gentle, and precise approach to care. To find out whether Atlas Orthogonal Chiropractic of Buffalo is right for you, call 716-775-5025 or visit www.aobuffalo.com for more information. That was the Atlas Orthogonal Chiropractic of Buffalo, located on Grand Island. And You have been listening to readings of articles and features from the Tribune Centennial covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, and your reader today is me, Lori Morose. Okay, here's question and answer. Have We Met This Christmas? Starred Danica McKellar on Great American Family feature filmed in Buffalo. And this is behind the scenes. Danica McKellar is a certified math genius, a best-selling author, a star of the iconic 1980s It's a Wonderful Life, The Wonder Years, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. The Wonder Years in 1980s, and the staple of the Christmas movie making. For a few weeks, earlier this fall, she was also a Buffalo resident. McKellar was in Western New York to shoot her 12th holiday film, Have We Met This Christmas? The Great American Family feature, part of the 5th annual Great American Christmas series, debuted Saturday, is now repeating and streaming. It largely takes place inside the Saturn Club, which is known as the Merry Mountain Inn, on scene. It's really cute down there, McKellar said, on Delaware Avenue corridor. That building was amazing. In Have We Met This Christmas, McKellar plays Kate, a troubled real estate purchaser. Right before the holidays, she learns the Merry Mountain Inn is for sale. Much to the chagrin of the innkeeper's son, Emmett Jesse Hutch, who know her once as Katie, and just so happens to be her ex. Suffice to say, the breakup was not great, and Kate is not budging. On her way to the property, Kate is involved in a snow-related car accident. She wakes up with no memory, only to be taken by Emmett's family. As he nurses Katie back to health, while keeping their past a secret, the two bond and set out to foil the Grinch, who, of course, is Kate. As Katie memories returns and Emmett grows to regret his choice, each character learns more about what matters most in life, and working to forgive others, especially at Christmas. The film is one of about a half dozen great American film productions set in Western New York this year. In a press release, Great American Media President and CEO Bill Abbott said, "One of the cornerstones of the Great American Christmas is celebrating the legacy of family talent in our Christmas movies. Our viewers love seeing beloved stars like Danica McKellar and Jesse Hutch, stars who share the scene across generations and bring our heartfelt stories to life. It is a tradition that makes Great American Christmas feel like coming home for the holidays." Have We Met This Christmas was co-written by McKellar, who just released a children's book, I Love You 100, a counting book full of love, via her McKellar Math imprint. She shares more in this edited question and answer. Tell me about writing the script. This is the BTS. Tell me about writing the script. I know this is your first time. Where did the idea come from to participate in that kind of exercise? And what was the process of coming up with this wonderful idea? The response from Danica McKellar. Thank you. Such a good question. I've been in the business forever, and I absolutely love acting. And there are some roles that I've always kind of wanted to play. Do you remember the movie Overboard with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell? She gets amnesia? BTS? Absolutely. Danica McKellar's response. Okay, so I was supposed to be doing a different movie for Great American this year. And for complicated reasons, it fell apart. And they were like, oh my gosh, we don't have a Christmas movie for you this year. I was like, I thought, I've always wanted to play a character who got amnesia. Anyway, I came up with a couple of pitches for them. I have been involved in the writing a little bit, but never this much. And so they actually wanted to do a different one that I had. So I thought, I love this concept of the amnesia so much that maybe I'll write my first Christmas novel or something. And so I outlined the entire thing. It took me a couple of days, and then I got a text from the Great American saying, hey, guess what? We want to do your amnesia this year, after all. I was like, really? Well, guess what? I already started. I got the outline. Hang on, flipping pages. I just always wanted to play a character who wakes up and has no idea who she is. I think about... Okay, sorry, I lost my spot. I think because there's just no idea of a blank slate. There's a moment in the movie where I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, I have no idea who I am or how I got here. It's just this fun moment that you don't usually get to play any other time. I mean, there's handful emotions, right? And there are the takings that you don't find anywhere else. They assigned a writer to me, who I worked with before, and the two of us together wrote the actual script. I would say, okay, well, I'll take these two scenes. You take those scenes. So I wrote all the scenes with me and my co-star, played by Jessie Hutch, and she wrote about what would bring them together. Her name is Riley Weston, the other writer. We put them together, and somehow they just really worked together. It was the first time ever either of us had ever written with someone else, and it went great. So we'll probably do it again at some point. All right, BTS question. I think anytime there is amnesia, people think about Overboard. But I love the twist in this one, in that Kate is a sort of pursuing the Grinch, who is herself. How did that come about? Dana McKellar's response. But also, it's like the inverse of Overboard, because in Overboard, he pretended that they were in a relationship where she has lost her memory. She doesn't know who he is. He pretends that they are married. And in this one, he pretends that we didn't have a history together. And then also, because many of the movies have the trope of we have to save the inn, I thought it would be fun, since I don't remember who I am, I'm the one who's going to save the inn. And she laughs. So this idea that we are called the Grinch was just fun, because then you can name it. And it's very Christmassy, the Grinch. It was a blast. It came very naturally. I've written math books for 20 years now, and I've done a little bit of creative writing. And whenever something comes together so well, it feels like there's divine help. Because you're like, wow, that'd be great. Oh, wait, this works with this and this and this. I hadn't even thought of that. So it feels like there's this other thing you tap into. It's like divine inspiration. And it's a very exciting experience. The BTS question, how did Buffalo come into the equation? The response from Danica McKellar, there's a studio up there, and Great American Family has a deal up there. And so they made multiple movies, and mine was one of them. Here's the BTS question. I saw you posted on social media about Niagara Falls and visiting one of the wonders of the world. Tell me about that day and your experience with Western New York in general. Danica McKellar's response. We went twice. That was mostly where I was. Most of the time on these movies, I'm in the hotel room and I'm learning my lines. And I'm on set and I'm saying my lines, and then I'm back in the hotel and then I'm running my lines. And then, of course, I make it down to the hotel gym from time to time and ordering in food. You would say it looks boring from the outside, but it's actually really, really fun to be that immersed in a project. However, in my family, I had my family come and visit me. Gotta go to Niagara Falls and have some fun. Draco, my son, has a friend who lives in Canada, on the Canadian side. I think he's not too far from Toronto. So his mom and he drove in, and we got to all hang out together. The falls are amazing. We did the boat ride at night, where they light it up in different colors. We also did the next morning. We came back again. We drove back to Buffalo, went to sleep, woke up, drove back, and went during the day. And the daytime was my favorite, to be honest. I mean, the colors were really fun, but I love during the day, and we actually get closer to it as well. And I just love the power and like the being in touch with what the colors really are. Just incredible, majestic. I'd seen the falls before, like through the caves, because of shooting in Hamilton and shooting of the Christmas movies in the area quite a bit, to be honest. But I'd never done the boat rides. Those were great. BTS question. 2 networks that you are very familiar with, Hallmark and Great American Family, have done quite a bit of work in our market this year. Even though you were here for a couple of weeks, did you see something about Buffalo or Western New York that you could understand why films are taking place here? If it was the people, the place, if there was something about the area you thought lends itself to have future films be shot here. Danica McKellar's response was, I believe there's a big tax incentive. BTS, yes. Tax incentives not noteworthy. Danica McKellar response, honestly, the people were so nice and I thought I was in Canada. Canadians, they're known to be nice. In Buffalo, I was blown away at how incredible and accommodating and kind our crew members were. Honestly, when I shoot in the U.S., it's not the same experience. And so I was really pleasantly delighted. I was just belated at the people. BTS response. I'm glad to hear that my fellow Buffalonians treated you well. Danica McKellar's response. I love the Buffalo Bills spirit everywhere. Believers. BTS response. Something that we see in all of these movies is a staple. That is your position on hot chocolate. Pro or con? Danica McKellar's response. Well, I don't drink it myself. BTS response. Oh my goodness. Danica McKellar's response. I love the idea of it. I love how it smells. I was just asked today on New York Live. They said hot cocoa or eggnog, and I said eggnog. I don't drink a lot of it. I wouldn't be able to fit in these dresses, but I will splurge a little from time to time on eggnog. Hot chocolate, not quite worth it to me. I've got to be honest, but I hope we can still be friends. BTS's response. Surprisingly, you're not that first actor to tell me they don't like hot chocolate. So I'm kind of questioning the whole idea of Christmas movies in my head now, a little bit. Danica McKellar's response. My characters love it, and so I will continue to pretend. And you know what? The marshmallows are so fun. Okay, on our last articles here. The Kiwanis Club of Lewiston supporting Academy Park electrical upgrade, but move called into question. Written by Joshua Maloney. Members of the Kiwanis Club of Lewiston set out Monday to ensure longtime community leader Jerry Wolfgang's legacy would live on in Lewiston. But $29,500 donation made by the service group he assisted for 65 years was later called into question. Kiwanians Mark Brigillo and John Soretto presented a check to the village board of trustees prior to the monthly meeting. A press release sent last week noted funds will go to launch the long-planned electrical modernization of the Academy Park. The project, originally initiated by the late community leader Jerry Wolfgang, includes burying electrical lines and installing 9 electrical ports throughout the park. The village of Lewiston will provide trenching and pole removal at no cost. This event will highlight a major infrastructure improvement benefiting festivals, concerts, and future community events while honoring Wolfgang's legacy and the Kiwanis Niagara County Peach Festival. Ahead of the check presentation, Kiwanis Club board member Briglio said Wolfgang's vision was to have this project completed. He had money put aside. The Lewiston Kiwanis has that money now and is using part of that to pay for this donation, plus what we've collected as well. We're going to dedicate this electrical project in the name of Jerry Wolfgang because the man did so much. There's not a plaque anywhere that thanks him for anything. I felt a drive to, with and the rest of the folks, past our board presented past to give him recognition. He said he was the founding father of this project. Upon Wolfgang's passing, January 2023, a remembrance shared in this publication noted he was Kiwanis Club president in 1979 and continued to be very active with Kiwanis events over the years. Wolfgang served as advisory chair for the Lewiston Club's annual Niagara County Peach Festival. Where was it? Held each September at Academy Park, and oversaw its numerous functions. These included organizing the annual Peach Festival Parade, the Peach Festival Taste-Off Contest, cheerleading and competitions, and managing the event's numerous entertainment and publicity areas. He is the man most often credited for the success of Lewiston's famous festivals and parades. Mayor Annie Welch called the donation a gracious act. She shared, "This project is for the removal of all the old power line poles and panels and installing new underground electrical lines with new power boxes. Dave Ruley of Ruley Electric will accept the check and will be doing all the electrical work. Mr. Ruley has also donated his services for the cost of the installation." The Village of Lewiston, DPU, will be removing the old poles and panels and will do the trenching for the new underground lines. This is a coordinated effort that will further enhance our beautiful park. We want to thank Kiwanis for funding this project, Dave Ruley for his services, and our DPU for their help with this project. Sorrento said, "Over my 30 years of being a Kiwanian, and now president of the Lewiston Kiwanis, that the Lewiston Kiwani Club is plugging into the community. And this particular project here is not only helping us and our Peach Festival, which is economic development. It helps over 100 organizations out there. It will also help the village with all these festivals that are coming into play at Academy Park, plus the farmers market. We see that the Italian Club is coming here for the Italian Festival, and I foresee that there'll be many more organizations coming to Academy Park, and we're making it easier and less costly to do that. I'm very proud to be a part of this Kiwanis that supported this. We're giving back to the village of Lewiston," Briglio said. "It's not just the Peach Festival. It's for everyone else. It's a donation to the community." Trustees voted 4-1 to accept the donation. Trustee Tina Coppins voted no. Not all Kiwanians are in favor. Kiwanis board member Rick Flores said he supported the idea of upgrading the electrical at Academy Park, but not at the club's expense. Why would Kiwanis be the sole provider of the funds when we only use the park 2 weeks out of this year? He said, "Nobody here really knows the scope of work being done. Right now you're going to get a check that's going to cover $29,500, which is just limited funds. You can get a fully funded project funded by the town of Lewiston via its 6.5 megawatt energy fund that came with the New York Power Authority relicensing agreement. This project can be fully funded and not 1 cent come out of Kiwanis. We are not the only users of this park," Flores said. Welch said that there is no indication or guarantee that the town of Lewiston would provide such funding. Briglio noted the Kiwanis board voted 7-3 in favor of the donation. Both Flores and Coppins expressed concern over the donation process. It doesn't matter whether you get a gift or you get a donation. It doesn't matter what word you use. It still should be part of the bidding, Flores noted. Coppins said there's 3 bids for the electrical upgrade should have been collected. Just because it's gifted doesn't mean it can go to one person, she said. Treasurer Stephanie Longwell replied, "I spoke to our accountant and they said as long as we have the 2 quotes The Kiwanis did receive the club's meeting minutes, and no money followers through the village at all are okay. She said the funding gift would go toward capital assets. Following the meeting, Town of Lewiston Supervisor Steve Broderick confirmed his municipality is willing to provide funding and more than $29,500 through the NYPA fund. He said the upgrade project is eligible because it's electrical and would happen on municipal grounds. Blech, sorry. It's a no-brainer, Broderick said. We're already funding the Upper Niagara Chamber with new windows, new roof, new door. We're already funding electrical upgrades at the Red Brick Inn in the village. We're in the process of talking about replacing all of the windows at Red Brick. The town is willing to fund the whole project, Broderick said. Town funding would require the traditional sealed bid process to occur with a minimum of 3 applicants before an agreement with the electrical services provider is initiated. Broderick said the village could submit a letter to the town board requesting funding for electrical upgrades. That could take Kiwanis off the hook. If or until that happens, this is between Kiwanis and the village, Broderick said. It's not influencing it. I'm not influencing it. Borgello reiterated the donation is a gift intended to benefit the community, and his board voted to take such action. He noted Kiwanis wants to act now, as the price for the materials has increased over the past 3 years. Borgello also said he had no prior knowledge of the town of Lewiston funding the offer. Welch said the village board has had many conversations over the years about upgrading the electrical services at Academy Park, starting with the former Kiwanis Jerry Wolfgang, who told me that the Kiwanis would pay for the upgrade. Our village engineers drew the plans for our new electrical service, and the Kiwanis Club members voted to pay for the upgrade. I have not had any conversations with Supervisor Broderick regarding any funding on the electrical upgrade on Academy Park. We are grateful to the Kiwanis for their generous donation and will move forward with this project that will further enhance the park. Under the terms and existing Kiwanis Club donation, trustee Jim Fittanti said a coordination meeting would be required. The engineer Mike Marino's office, the DPU, Ruley, and the Kiwanians before the electrical upgrade begins. That was the Kiwanis Club in Lewiston. All right, going to the graffiti arrest. Lewiston Police Department. Chief Michael Salata updated the board on graffiti found along walls at the Frontier House and the Silo Restaurant, and on some signs. We did make an arrest on the graffiti, and it was a 17-year-old male, so I can't get into it too much on the details. He has been cited and will be going to juvenile probation to hopefully at some point make some restitution to getting this fixed. Okay, our last article of the day is the Grand Island celebrates Chanukah, the Festival of Lights, by Alice Gerard. The world of Rabbi Mendel Gary said the Full of Darkness, speaking at the gazebo in the Grand Island Town of Commons on December 16th as part of the Chanukah celebration. I'm sorry, this word is Chanukah. On December 14th at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia, 16 persons were killed and more than 40 were injured in a terrorist attack at the Hanukkah celebration. The victims ranged in age from 10 years old to 87, Holocaust survivor. We're very sad for this to happen over there, but we're not going to let the darkness prevail, Curry said. We're going to keep on adding lights, keeping on adding goodness and positivity, adding acts of goodness and kindness, or charity or prayer. Just a little bit of the light will push away this little darkness. Guerreri said the Grand Island event celebrated the third night of Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, with a menorah lighting and with traditional foods including potato pancakes and donuts and a raffle. The Hanukkah celebration also celebrated 200 years anniversary of the idea that Grand Island would be a rate in the city of refuge for the Jewish people. Manuel Morhiro Nora, Grand Island and city of refuge for the Jewish people, was a Maccabi, a very proud American, and a very proud Jewish person. Guerreri said he served at the council in Tunis, and he was removed from his position because of his religion. We sent many letters to the White House, and he made a big deal about this. But he continued proud, and he laid here the cornerstone. That cornerstone is now in the Buffalo History Museum. In addition to the story about Noah, Guerreri shared the history of Hanukkah. Many years ago, the people of the land of Israel were being persecuted for their religion. They were told that they were not allowed to practice their religion. But there were a few brave Jewish people called the Maccabees. They stood strong. They said, "We're going to continue to do what God wants. We're going to continue practicing." They came back to the temple, and they found the temple a big mess. The menorah was broken, and there was no oil to be found. They were searching here until they found one jug of oil. It could last for only one day. The miracle of Hanukkah was that the oil lasted for 8 days. That's why we celebrate the 8 days of Hanukkah. Wow, that's nice. I was saying Chanukah, and I do apologize. That was Hanukkah all day. Real quick, online news. Upward Niagara Chamber marks 20 years. The Red Cross Buffalo Fire Honor Guard remembered unclaimed World War I veterans at Wreaths Across America Day. Niagara County Outdoor Ice Rinks at Cruel Burmaster opens. Inspiring others, being inspired themselves, keeps Nutcracker veterans coming back. Niagara County DA announces murder sentencing, conviction in an attempted murder case. Femmes of Rock of the Ark. Golden Boy shirts to benefit Buddy's second chance. Those are just clippings of the Tribune Centennial Dispatch from Grand Island. Thank you for listening. There are church worship. Here's our church worships. Trinity Church of Grand Island, Christmas Eve worship. 5 p.m. is the children's play. 7 p.m. candlelighting service for all in person or live streaming. St. Timothy's Lutheran Church, Christmas Eve service mass, 4 p.m. Bible Fellowship, Christmas Eve. Music begins at 5:30. Candlelight and carol services 6 to 7. First Presbyterian Church, Candlelight Christmas Eve service, Wednesday, December 24th, starting at 4 p.m. And Lutheran Church of the Messiah, Pastor Tim Annis, Christmas Eve service at 7 p.m., Christmas Day, 10 a.m. That's your services on Christmas Eve. You have been listening to a reading of articles and features from the December 19th, 2025 issue of the Tribune Centennial covering Niagara County and Grand Island. Your reader has been me, Lori Morose. Thank you for listening, and happy holidays.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. At 6 o'clock, we got the Wall Street Journal Off Duty, and at 7 o'clock, we got Harper's Magazine. Stay with us for these readings and more. If you or people you know shop at any of the Dash's supermarkets, please save Dash's register tapes for radio reading. Our agency receives $2 for every $100 in Dash's register tapes. Radio reading has raised thousands of dollars so far. Anyone can drop off their Dash's tapes to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 1199 Harlem Road, Cheektowaga, between William and Clinton Streets. or Dash's tapes can be mailed to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 1199 Harlem Road, Cheektowaga, New York, 14227. Any questions on Dash's tapes for radio reading? Call us at 716-821-5555, and thanks for caring. The following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision,